What's going on, Rooster?
What up, Patty? We're back
Hey,
for round 3.
round 3. We'll see how many we can get done today.
Yeah,
Hopefully, a few. I'm thinking we can get most of the rest of them done because it starts
yeah,
having some rounds have keepers in them now, so
yeah.
make them a little
I
shorter.
My opinions are either non-existent on these players or very strong. That's basically it. I either don't care or I have a strong opinion. So
Yeah, after the second round, I think it's the amount of players out there is there's a ton of players still, but the quality is just not there. The quality goes downhill
yeah.
fast.
it's like going to freaking Marshalls or whatever. Or what's the store where everything just in bins? Mike Marshalls, right?
Oh, Goodwill?
And yeah, it's just a fucking bucket of t-shirts we're sifting through at this point.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's get right to it. So this was the second half of the Williams debacle, whatever that was.
I'll take Williams. Which one? Both of them.
So Preston Sofa took Carson Williams this pick. At least
Yeah,
he's a top 100 prospect, I guess, but I see
yeah,
a lot of red flags.
yeah. It's a shortstop. I think he's a shortstop with a bad hit tool and a little bit of pop and a little bit of speed. What I wrote was this is what happens when you just say Williams for a draft pick.
I mean, he did have, I think, he was almost a 2020 guy last year. I think he had like 18 or 19 home runs. So he's got that going for him. Almost had 30 stolen bases, high 20s. But the problem is his strikeouts were out of control. I think he had like 170 strikeouts in 110 games.
I don't think this guy has the bat to become an everyday player.
Yeah, and that was in low A. I mean, he's 18 or 19 last year, so there's hope, but
it's going to take a
long way to go.
It's going to take a complete different approach. I think it's a really bad pick.
Yeah, and I don't know much about him defensively, so I'm not sure if he can stick it short.
I think they said he's like a short, like he's going to stay at shortstop. But I mean, if you can't hit, who cares?
If he's good defensively, he'll make the bigs because shortstops are premium in the big leagues, but still.
Yeah. So it's not really. Yeah, I think we've said enough on that pick.
Yeah.
Hunter Brown,
sacrifice blunts. Yeah. So
I like this one because
you like a pitcher?
Well, I know I like the pick for Kroom because he was texting me and saying, no, he's going to take these pitchers or whatever. And if you're going to take one, take a guy who's really close. So the guy had some success.
He finished September in the big leagues.
Yeah. So like he's going to pitch this year. There's a spot now in the Astros rotation. He's going to fill. I didn't expect their other pitchers to be so good last year. Maybe he's going to pull, maybe he's going to be a really good pitcher. I don't know. He's like a mid-rotation guy, but if you're going to take a guy,
he has number 2 or number 3 potential. I don't know if he has ace potential. I wouldn't go that far.
But you never know, and like
you will get stuff.
You're take a pitcher, you take a guy who's going to get you innings this year.
There probably you go. Limit his innings this year.
Yeah, Hunter Brown, he'll get you some innings, but I don't know if you're not going to be keeping him next year.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, of course, you never know. And like you said, Javier and what was the other guy in the Astros rotation?
Valdez.
Oh, Uquady or whatever his name is. Both of them had really good years. I think they were both kept this year. So
no, it was the other guy. It was Garcia and somebody else.
Luis Garcia, that's who I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, so I mean, those guys you thought, back in mid-rotation guys, they both had great years. The Astros are putting some magic on all their pitchers. Who knows what it is?
Cans.
Yeah, so it's a decent gamble. It's better than taking some unknown 16-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick. I think it'll pay dividends this year. Like I said, he might get shut down earlier. They might try to limit his innings to 150 or so, but should be all right. I think that's it.
It's decent.
It's a good value pick.
Yeah,
he'll get value this year out of it.
And I know I've read a lot of stuff. He's sort of Verlander light. He's copied his delivery on Verlander. That's his idol was Verlander. They got to play together last year. He's much smaller, doesn't have the same stuff, but the Astros, like I said, they've created good pitchers out of mid-rotation guys. So
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Number 27 overall, third pick in the third round, Matthews takes Colson
Colson.
Montgomery.
Oh, this guy was on my board.
Really?
He would have been taken if he would have fallen to me in the third. He's a third baseman with power and a hit tool. And if he stays at third, he's going to be a great fantasy player. I don't know if he goes to first base, what's going to happen, or corner outfield. But as a third baseman, with a plus hit tool and a plus power bat, and he's big. I like big guys. He's like 6'4".
He's a big guy. I don't see a plus power bat though, even though he's big.
I think they say he's got power. I mean, not plus power. He's got power. He's got burgeoning power.
Average power.
He's a big guy.
Maybe 20.
Yeah.
If he can hit good, then yeah, that will go a long way for this guy. If he hits what he's sort of hit in the minors, I don't know. That
I think guys with good hit tools,
guy.
With average power, good hit tool, it can play up. So he's going to run into more because he's going to make quality contact. He's not going to be Aaron Judge all of a sudden, but he's not going to be Jock Peterson either.
Well, I see Moustakas with less home runs, a lot less.
Yeah. Okay.
But Moustakas is not really a keeper. He has been a keeper in the past, but
yeah, I think he's maybe bigger than that. I mean, maybe
definitely bigger than Moustakas. Moustakas is probably more filled out, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is a good pick this late to get a guy who could be a fantasy keeper.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I think the next guy that Bolt took, I hate to say this, but I think my opinion on this guy might have changed after watching him play in the WBC.
Did he hit the home run in the championship, or was it the semifinal versus Mexico? I think it was a semifinal.
I think it was a semifinal, but he was showing a little bit more pop in his bat than in Japan. Obviously, he's crushing the ball, right?
Well, I watched videos of this guy, and it looked like, he uses the whole field, which I love. But he looked like almost an Ichiro kind of player without the speed, spraying the ball all over the field.
Yeah. And so I think I sort of read that, he had a big year, I think a couple of years ago in Japan, and last year wasn't as big power-wise. So they're like, oh, the power's not going to play, but I don't know. Not that the pitching in the WBC is like top tier, but he's going to face a lot of really crappy pitchers in Major League Baseball too.
Yeah, there are. Once you get to that third, fourth, fifth starter, a lot of teams, it goes downhill, and then of course
you're up by 7, and they put in some reliever to fill the game out.
Yeah, a lot of bullpens have early bullpen issues, maybe good back ends. Yeah. So I don't know.
I wasn't like everybody says it was an overpay. He's scouted to have a good bat and a good plate discipline with a little bit of pop. That's what I wrote. Yeah, but Japanese stats don't always come over. Some guys are Matsui, some guys are Ichiro, and some guys are like, who is the guy the Mets signed? He's like a second base. Sometimes these guys just like the Red Sox had a guy. Sometimes they just flat out don't hit, Fukadome or whatever. Sometimes these guys, they just don't hit. And sometimes they do. More often than not, they don't. So,
I don't mind the pick. A third round pick for I think it's a low risk pick because the guy's going to be in a big leagues this year.
Yeah.
And if he hits 250 with 15 homers, okay, no big deal. You got a little bit of stats out of him, maybe good enough.
Does an outfielder stay on your roster hitting like that? I don't think so.
Probably not. But if he hits 280 with 20 plus homers,
which is now I think maybe possible. I don't know. It's a better pick now than I initially thought, but
I will say Bolt's team is so crappy in the keeper department that
he might keep him.
Could be a keeper, exactly.
Yeah. Only if he was a Royals reliever, it'd be a guaranteed keep.
Yep, sure would.
So the next pick, Chalupa.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah. So the funny thing is that like this guy, I think it was maybe when he signed from Korea, he's the rare guy that came straight to the U.S., didn't play in the Korean ball professionally.
The KBO, yeah.
Yeah, so he came straight out of Korean high school, I think, to the Cardinal system. And, like, I was going to pick him, I think it was 2 years ago, just as a joke in, like, my last pick. But I was like, I couldn't even do it. because the guy is like a bat flip, like highlight reel. He just sells out for power and does bat flips.
Yeah.
But so when Chalupa took him, I knew who it was, and that's why I thought it was so great. I mean, he's never going to be in the major leagues.
I
But,
mean,
but it's a great,
I won't go that far.
pick. It's a great pick because it shows at least some research. You're not going to find this guy in a list anywhere.
Definitely
Like, how did Chalupa find this guy? I found him from seeing a bat flip on Twitter.
I have no clue where this guy came from. So, I mean, I saw when his name came up, I figured he was Korean, hit the 3 names that are all 3 letters long. So I figured that much. But yeah, I don't know anything about this guy.
He used to post bat flips. He used to post bat flips on social media, but I think he stopped. No.
Well, he probably shouldn't do that in the majors. If he ever makes it, that'll get a nice fastball to his head real quick.
Oh, he'll love it. So obviously, that's like the worst pick of the round because the guy has no prospects, no potential. But I like the guy. He totally sells out for power.
I mean, I will say yes, he struggles. His hit tool struggles. But in his limited, he played 26 games last year and walked 20 times in low A. Or was it low A? Where was he? Oh, he was in rookie ball in the Florida, whatever coast.
So he's got to be what, like 20? How old is he? Like 2021, maybe? 20?
He is 19.
19.
Turns 20 in August.
Okay. Yeah, so he's still young, but I would love to see this guy in Major League Baseball, but it's I don't know. The Cardinals do crazy things and bring up guys out of nowhere.
He's got a long way to go. If
he's got
like you said.
Yeah, it's a long way. He has
of all the guys that were drafted, like you said, I think this guy has the least shot to not make the big leagues.
But I like it. It's better than just taking some random guy. Like I'm just wondering how Chalupa post how you found this guy, because I found it through a bat flip thing on social media.
Tell us, yes.
So. Because honestly, you can't find him on a list anywhere.
Oh, he's not on a list.
So Hull, next pick, I think takes the steal of the round right here.
I like this guy, yeah. And he's going to provide immediate impact. So Hull also did trade. I think this was part of the trade. He traded Real Muto and got this pick, I believe, right?
Oh, I don't know. The trades got so crazy. We'd have to look
because he got it from Packing Heat. So I'm pretty sure this was that Real Muto and Kenley Jansen trade. Okay. This is one of the return picks on it.
It's a great return because I remember when
Real Muto with the catcher, Soderstrom. So I like it.
Well, I think Flo drafted him a few years ago and I shit on it because I'm just not big on drafting minor league catchers. But now the A's, everybody's saying he's done with catcher. He might catch a little bit, but he's a first baseman now.
Well, I want him. If I'm Hull, I want him to catch. What's our rules for carrying over to the catcher position next year?
I think it's 20 games played.
I thought they lowered it to 10.
I think that was just for COVID.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, the shortened season.
Are they raised back up now?
But I think if he was going to stay at catcher, I don't like the pick because it's rare to have like a slugging catcher that really like hangs on. But I think at first base, he gets regular playing time. He gets to play every day. His body's not going to get beat up. I don't think he's that great of a catcher anyways. Like he's not some defensive whiz at catcher. You put him at first base, he's going to be like a 260, possible 30 home run hitter.
Yeah. He's going to strike out a lot. He's going to
strike out a lot. He's got a lot of pop.
He's not going to walk much. I mean, his walk rate was really low in the minors last year. So
the A's burn out these guys that play first base that hit bombs all the time. And in 3 years, they'll trade him.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was the guy? Pena? Jose Pena? Not Jose Pena.
Jeremy.
Was it Jeremy Pena? Yeah, I see a lot of similarities minus the OBP in that guy. So we'll see.
Yeah, for this late.
I think it's like catcher is more value.
He really should have been kept. So he shouldn't have been available because he was on Flo's old team and he was dropped this year.
So then I don't even know what happened to Flo's team. I don't know where that guy went. That's another story.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good pick. Now we'll go to D's pick, also like borderline the best pick of this round, but I gave it to Soderstrom because he's closer. But Zavala, this guy, he's polished. He's young. He's polished. He's projectable hitter.
He's not that young.
He's what, 19?
22?
Oh, is he?
Isn't this guy, or am I thinking of someone else?
I thought he was younger. I don't know. Maybe he went to college.
Is this guy an international guy, or was he the? I think I'm getting my Zavalas mixed up now.
Well, maybe I am. I thought he was younger. He's not. I don't think he's 22, but he could be. But I thought he was young.
This guy from a couple years ago.
No, I think this guy's in the Padres system, I think.
Oh, okay, then I'm thinking of the guy on the Rangers system, Zavala.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know who that is.
He's like a second round pick a couple years ago.
Oh, you track that. I don't. So I got him down as a polished, projectable, young hitter. He's got great value. This is a guy who, if he performs over the next year, 2 years, he's going to shoot up in the rankings of prospects. He's got all the tools.
Well, then he must be young. It's not the guy I'm thinking of. So if that guy really is like 18 or 19, and he does have a good year, yes, he will shoot up prospect boards.
Yeah, I thought this was a great. He was on my board.
Does he have American stats yet, or has he just been in the Dominican League?
No, I'm pretty sure he's been playing in the U.S. But he's young. Yeah, he's 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he played in A-ball last year. He played in A-ball last year. 33 games in A-ball.
Not even rookie ball, damn.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He's lefty. Yeah. He's got a good hit tool. He's got average or plus across the board. He's this is a
really good pick.
I had him on my board, but I had him kind of low. And then when Schaefer took him, I looked at him a little more and I was like, shit, I really should have had this guy higher.
Interesting. I should have done more research. I thought it was the Ranger guy, so I don't have much on this guy.
So yeah, he's a guy who's like, you'd have to go through the prospects list of the Padres to really see him. He's not a top 100 prospect.
Well, the Padres have a lot of really good, like mid-range kind of prospects.
And I think he gets lost in the shuffle, maybe on the list. Like I said, I had him down, but not as high as I should have after reading about him a little more. Now he is a high strikeout guy, but
I mean, international guys, that happens when they first come over, and sometimes they fix it, sometimes they don't.
He walks a lot as well, so I think that's a really great pick. Right next to or right under the Soderstrom pick, and then Binge. Are we saying Binge or Bingy?
I don't think you've ever clarified that, so we don't have an answer.
We need to put the phonetic spelling.
But I will say, you talked about those last two picks being your best picks of the round. This was my best pick of the round, I thought.
Really?
I love Frelick.
I like him as like a real baseball player, but not so much in fantasy.
I mean, maybe this is selling it way too much, but I really think he's got like close to a 70 hit tool. I think this guy's going to be a 300 hitter most years of his career.
But will he hit over 10 home runs? He's going to have to steal 30 bases to be valuable in fantasy.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can hit 320, I don't know. I mean,
320 is a lot to ask.
Is he Luis Ariz? He can hit 330 with 5 home runs. I don't know how many Luis hit last year or 2 years ago.
If he's hitting 320, I mean, he's like Ichiro. He's not going to be that good.
No, he's not going to hit Ichiro kind of stolen big. He's not going to steal 50. I don't think.
I think it's a good player. He's not a guy you're going to keep on your fantasy team, but it's a good player to have. I don't know how many at-bats they'll have for him this year because Garrett Mitchell is going to be playing center for the Brewers, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to make the team already. So
Garrett Mitchell they're kind of clones of each other, I think. Maybe Frelick is a little bit better hitter, but they're both similar. They're sort of speed, contact types.
Yeah. But I really do think Frelick's going to hit literally 310 to 330 in the big leagues. I think he's going to be a fantastic hitter. Like you said, not much power. If he hits 10 to 15 home runs with that average, that's massive. And if he can steal 30 bases, I don't know if that's possible. 20 is probably more.
I think he'd be a good player to draft but maybe not a good keeper. But the keepers were rough this year, so who knows?
Yeah, so that was my best pick of the round right there. I think, like I said, for the hit tool, you're not going to find a better hit tool. That guy knows how to handle the bat.
Yeah, I had it as sort of just an average thing because I just don't. I feel like in the disc draft, I don't know. Like if he was making the team in spring training, I would rate it a little bit higher, but I don't know if he is. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know how many players can do it consistently. Maybe Soto is one of the few players that actually walks more than he strikes out in a year. This guy, I think, has that potential because he's just not going to strike out a lot. He's going to put the ball in play, get hits. I mean, in 150 games, we'll say, I bet he would strike out 70 times, maybe 75 half the game, one every 2 games. And then he could easily walk that many times, I think. He's got a pretty good eye.
I think it's just kind of like it is a safe pick. It's a safe player, but there's not a lot of upside. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. I had it as just an average pick.
Like I said, 320, that's got to be a keeper pretty much.
I would bet that he would never hit 320 in his whole career.
I mean, for a career?
No. Like in a season, let's say minimum 100 at bats. He'll never hit over 320 or never hit over 319.
He can do that. I'll bet you right now.
Okay. It's a bet.
All right, $10.
One bag of oranges. It's a bet.
Fine, whatever you want. Bag of oranges might cost $40 in the future, though.
No, drive down to Corpus, grab me a bag.
I'll just start growing them myself, I guess, and ship them to you.
There you go.
All right.
Blunts takes Jason Churio. He's got both the Churio boys. So I really liked Kroom taking this guy because I think this is like there's a lot of projection here, right?
They just see his brother playing well.
So
they see his brother playing well, and they think this guy is automatically going to be just as good. That's not the case. This guy has way less skill, and I mean way less skill than his brother.
The tools are not as loud, but I think he fits in really good. I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy as a top 100 prospect in a few years.
Yeah, if he has a good year, he could definitely go to the bottom half. He'll never be a top half 100 guy, I don't think, unless he really, really has an explosion this year.
Yeah, he's only like a year and a half younger than his brother as well.
Yeah, and I think he played Jason in the Dominican League all last year.
Yeah,
while Jackson touched AA.
And Jackson jumped out of nowhere too, so you never know. Maybe it's in their DNA, Patty.
He's
going to make a big jump.
Jackson's. It's not in Jason's DNA.
But I know Kroom liked this pick. I think it's a decent pick. He could move up prospect boards, but there's still a ways to go. He's still pretty young.
Yeah,
he's 18 or something like that. So
we'll see. I mean, I'm not big on it, but third round, I'm not gonna be too critical of it.
Now, Patty, I want you to just explain this next pick.
To explain?
Yeah, explain it.
Senga is better than Yoshida. First off, he dominated Yoshida in the Japanese league.
Okay,
this guy will be obviously with the Mets rotation from day one.
Okay,
so my whole thinking is, would I rather draft someone that maybe 2 years away and maybe be just crappy when he gets to the big leagues, or take something that I can get at least a little bit of value out this year? And for that reason, also, I had to trade for Robbie Ray to Kroom because the only starting pitcher I had on my team was Ohtani. So I got Ray and Ohtani. So I just needed starting pitching depth. I wanted Hunter Brown to fall to me. He did not. So that was my guy in this round. So Senga, to me, is going to give me at least value this year. He won't be a keeper on my team unless he absolutely destroys it, like Hideo.
Were you targeting him to take him in the first 2 rounds of the Major League Draft?
Senga?
Yeah.
No, he probably would have been somewhere between like 4 and 6.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're looking at it that way, like I thought maybe you were targeting him in the Major League Draft.
I mean, I was definitely he wouldn't have been my first round pick. obviously, going closer. So that's out of the question.
But don't you think he would have been taken in the first or second round
Of the major league draft?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I think there's probably better pitchers out there than
I
this
just think
guy.
the novelty of it. That's why I wanted you to explain yourself, because I thought maybe you're like, I was taking this guy in the first round no matter what, and I stole him here. No. Okay.
But this guy, like I said, there was very few pitchers out there that I could draft that would actually give me value, starting pitchers that would give me value this year. I wanted Hunter Brown. Like I said, he got taken this round.
Well,
So
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a better statistical year than Hunter Brown.
from everything I've read, he was the best Japanese player to come over. He's not going to be Ohtani by any stretch.
He's not going to be Darvish.
He's not going to be Darvish. He's not going to be that guy in Japan that pitched. I think he pitch in the finals.
Sasaki, what's his name?
Roki, Roki.
Is that what it is? Yeah, dude, that guy is
Sasaki.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
That guy is 21, young, and a stud. So I don't know when they're going to be able to release him or post him. But
so I think this Senga is probably closer to Daisuke than he is to Darvish. Wouldn't you say?
I would say for sure, yeah.
And Daisuke was
Rabu either. Let's get that straight.
Okay. Yeah, he was okay when he came up, but then fizzled out. So yeah, I think it's a value pick.
I was just looking for another starting pitcher because I don't have very many right now.
Yeah. So yeah, if you were targeting him at all in the draft, I wasn't. But if you were, then it's a great pick, because now you don't have to waste. It wasn't going to
be one of my top picks, but it was going to be
top 5 pick, maybe.
Top 5 rounds, maybe.
If you saw him in the 4th round, would you take him?
Depends what else on the board, but possibly.
Yeah,
very possible.
So with the next pick right after that, I take the big boy, DePaula. So Dodgers, this is a big guy. He's large, lefty bat, lots of projection, but they say he's already growing out of the outfield.
Where do you go from there? First base only?
Apparently he's bad at defense, but they do have the DH, and the Dodgers are creative. So this is just sort of a projection play for me. I wanted to grab somebody who could easily jump up in the prospect boards over the next few years. There's a lot of projection in this bat, a lot of power. So we'll see where it goes.
He's going to make his stateside debut this year. So
that's that's when I like taking these guys. I don't like to take them and then watch them play Dominican ball for 2 years. I like to grab them right before they come to the U.S. If he comes to the U.S. and hits, he's suddenly going to be a big deal.
See, I don't know what his story is, because he was born in America. So
was he? I thought he was.
He was born in America, because I remember looking him up after you took him. He was born. I was like, why is this guy an international guy?
Well, who was the guy who was like, he grew up in the Bronx, but then signed when he was 16 because he's Dominican?
Joshua Baez.
Is that who it was?
Maybe. On the Cardinals? I know the Cardinals signed this guy Baez, who was, I think in New York or somewhere, just like this guy actually. But then he signed under the international rules.
Yeah, I think this happens. Guys they're Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever, but they grow up in the U.S. Well, they're still Venezuelan, so they can still sign when they're 16.
They're not Venezuelan. If you're born in America, you're an American, but what do I know?
Yeah, but if you have dual, you can choose which one you are if you're born with it.
I mean,
like the dude, who's the guy on the Twins, the German guy?
I have no idea.
Max Kepler. So his mom is American and his dad is German, and he grew up in Germany, but he signed with the Twins when he was 17.
Did he play like high school ball in Germany?
He played baseball in Germany, yeah.
So he didn't play baseball in like an actual high school in America.
Not that I know of, but all I'm saying is guys that are born dual citizens can choose what they are. Okay. They can sign when they're 16.
That must be this guy. I don't know enough about his background. All I know is he was born in New York. So
New York. This is a big guy, but like he's already graded to have 20 defense. So, there's a lot of trouble there. But like I said,
20 defense, and he's DH only.
He's 17. He's already 6'3", big power lefty bat. I love that pick.
I love his size. He looks really good. I mean,
that guy was really high on my board too.
So, yeah, I have to do some more research. I don't know if he played high school ball until he was 16 and then signed an international deal with the Dodgers, because then they sent him to the Dominican League where he tore it up, which I imagine if you're a 16-year-old, a sophomore in high school playing against 17, 18-year-old high school kids, they're probably more polished than Dominican pitchers. So, So he should tear that league up, but of course it's a wood bat. So I don't know. I mean, it's a projection one. Like I said, I want to see him stateside this year, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so he was born in Brooklyn, but he moved to the Dominican when he was 14.
Okay. So he's been there ever since, I guess, then.
He is Stephon Marbury's cousin.
Get out of here.
So whatever that means. So I guess he moved back to the Dominican, maybe to be eligible to sign when he was 16.
I have no maybe.
Anyways, the power is real. Level swing. Rarely gets into his raw juice. I'm reading a scouting report. Power projection, physically strong, big contact rate. So he's got a big bat. Love this guy. Love this guy. All right. Going into my next pick.
I guess. Let's go to round 4.
Going into round 4. So,
and you take a Rocky player, of course.
Rocky's guy. This guy is polished across the board. So we're talking about Tovar, but this guy is better than Tovar, 100%.
Oh wow!
So he's tooled up. He's tooled up. He's small. He's like 6 foot, right? But he's tooled up big time. He fits in at second base. He's got average speed, a plus bat. He needs to develop power. If he can develop into I'm looking at him as like a 15-15 or a 20-20 guy with a high average.
I think 20-20 is in the range. So I definitely think he's a good hitter.
All I know is that if this guy shows any power next year, he's going to fly up the prospect boards.
Yeah. I mean, like Frelick, this guy makes a ton of contact, doesn't strike out a lot. So I do like that about him.
Unlike Frelick, he actually has power potential.
I mean, yeah, when you're 19, I would say you have power potential. I mean,
I'm not saying he's going to hit.
I'm not
saying he's like think of him as like isn't he a switch hitter as well?
Yes, he is a switch hitter.
So I think of him as like an Ozzy Albiez type. That's that's what I'm seeing in him.
I mean, if you get anything close to that, then you had a steal of a pick right there.
Albiez was exactly this type of player when I drafted him in the minor league draft. Plus bat, good baseball IQ, but he's just small. Now, Albiez is even smaller. But there's difference between the guy is short and small. So just like Jamar Johnson, they might be short, but they're not small. These people are built. So,
well, Amador needs to put more pounds on, and because he is not built.
He's gonna come to Denver. He's gonna start drinking the water, taking hikes up to Pikes Peak. He's gonna put on some strength, guaranteed.
Let's give him some. We'll start with 5 milligrams, not maybe 10 milligram little gummy.
We'll start him off with 12 milligrams.
That's a lot for a little kid like this.
Well, you got to get started somehow.
I guess so. So that was my tie for the best pick in the 4th round. We don't have very many picks this round, but I do like that guy. He was on my radar. I was hoping he'd fall to like the 6th round.
Obviously, I love this guy. He was right. With like I had all these picks sort of right in there with like Soderstrom and DePaula. He was right in that group with me. So
wow.
And Patty, the next pick, I'm really happy to see you get your boy back. So I know y'all went through some struggles last year, but
yeah, and then he got hurt and I cut him, so he's back.
But really, I mean, if they don't re-sign, who's their closer now? Josh Hader?
Yeah, Hader. Hader's gonna be the closer. I'm just looking for.
But he's a free agent. What if they don't re-sign him or extend him? Could Suarez be the closer next year? Possibly.
if he has another good year, like Suarez finished the year fantastic. The last
what I'm
like 2
saying.
or 3 months, he was great. And if he
So,
does that for a whole year and they don't re-sign Hader, then yes, he could be.
so I think this is a great value pick. Basically, this is a guy I would have targeted in the major league draft as a holds guy. It's a steal to get him right here. So
yeah, I mean, Hader obviously struggled at times in the Padres once he got traded last year. So if he struggles again and Suarez is doing good, then yeah, I mean, this could be a closer, and I would just be on cloud 9 if that happens.
Yeah.
So
there's more potential than just some of those holds guys you've taken in the past that are just horrible. This guy has really good stuff. So,
well, luckily this guy I think was at like 48 innings, so he was
right on the cusp
under.
But he struck out a lot of people. Walks above average maybe, but for a reliever, it's doable. So
yeah, I'm happy with that. I was surprised he was even there in the 4th round. So,
well, I think you're one of the few people who takes relievers.
That's true as well.
So yeah, but it's
I look for value.
Lots of value there, especially this year value.
Exactly. So, I love this year.
Hats for bats goes Diego Cartaya. How do you say that?
Cartaya or Cartaya, something like that.
Cartaya?
Yeah.
He's a catcher. The Dodgers already have a really good catcher, so I don't know where this guy's going to play.
He's not playing. He's not taking Will Smith's job.
So. Yeah, not anytime soon. He's got some pop, but he's like
hit very well though. That's my problem.
I don't. Catchers take a long time to develop to get to the major leagues because they have to learn how to catch.
Yeah, that's really hard.
So that's why it's so rare.
Is just athleticism and just skill. But yeah, in the big leagues, you've got to do a lot more work as a catcher, and it's
just
hard.
Rare to have catchers that fly through the minor leagues. I think it's a bad pick.
I don't know if it's a bad pick. I don't like it per se, but
it's a bad.
I mean, I don't know. You're probably not ever going to get any value out of him.
No,
in the big leagues.
And then
by the time you do, you won't be keeping him after 1,000 at bats. So
exactly, it's going to be so far from now. And if he was going to be like the future catcher of the Dodgers, okay, but they have one of the best young catchers in baseball on their team right now.
I don't know. They're the Dodgers. They're never going to get rid of that guy until he's 30, mid-30s.
They traded Ruiz so that there's no like confusion about who's the catcher.
Exactly.
You know? So anyway, it's a terrible pick. Schaefer goes with a guy who I had on my board as well.
Really?
Gutierrez. I don't really know a lot about him. I don't think anybody does, just scouting reports, but he's a projectable outfielder. Rangers, lottery tickets that's worth buying.
Was he international this year or was it last year?
I think it was last year.
Okay.
I think. I'm not sure.
I don't know a ton about him. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, like all those guys, they could be really, really good or they could be really, really bad. There's reasons why guys like Acuna signed for $100,000 when the top guy in his draft class got $4 million, and that guy's still probably in low A.
Yeah. So it's very unpredictable, but when you're at this point in the draft, it's definitely worth.
Might as well, I would say.
You might as well. And then Chalupa, I'm not even going to pretend I know who this guy is.
I've heard of this guy.
Okay. I've never heard of De Los Santos. How do you even say that first name? Davison?
Davison. So he's from, I think he's a Bahamas kid, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right.
That's Davidson?
Davison. Davis, son.
Davis Young. Okay.
Davison.
Wow. Chalupa is really I'd love to hear an explanation about how he targets these guys. Because you have to search these guys out. You know what I mean?
So
it's harder to find these guys than find an actual prospect.
Is he from the Bahamas?
Let me look him up. Like I said,
no, he's not the Bahamas guy.
I didn't even put notes on this guy because it doesn't matter. You know,
you should look at his stats. It matters.
Well, I mean, you can't really if you're going to draft guys based on their minor league stats. You're going to be drafting guys that are never going to do anything. Most of the time, the leaders in the minor leagues aren't good prospects.
Sometimes. I
It's
mean,
like a,
this
it's like
guy
a
has a ton of power.
Diamondback. So I give him some credit. The
Defensively,
Diamondbacks do get a lot of good players. So he played in Double A last year as a 19-year-old.
well, he
That's
came up from I think he was in high A, or was he? He started in low A, even
He
maybe.
started in low A, and he got his promotion to Double A, even though he struck out 32.5% of the time
Very high,
in high A and walked 4% of the time.
very low.
So he hit 278 with unsustainable
He
numbers.
should have stayed in high A then.
Yeah, and then he went to Double A and hit 231.
Because the guy was 18, 19 last year. So he's
Yeah,
going to
so
be 19, 20 this year. So I think they
maybe there's something
only
there.
way too
Third
fast.
baseman, lots of power.
Not a third baseman in my eyes.
Yeah, they've got him. He's not a good fielder. He has no speed.
He's not a third baseman.
And he has a terrible hit tool.
I think he'll be a first baseman. And I see like a Christian Walker type player on the Diamondbacks.
I think Christian Walker's a way better player than this guy ever will be. Maybe he's
No,
Christian Walker like 3 years ago.
Christian Walker? What's his strikeout percentage?
Well, he
30?
also hit like 38 home runs or something like that.
This guy has that kind of power.
Yeah, but he's like, we're wasting too much time on this guy. It's not. I mean, it's an interesting pick because he's just pulling guys out of the gumball machine. But
I like that guy.
I like I said, I don't have any sort of knowledge of this guy, which I do like. I don't claim to know every prospect, but I do my research. So, anyways, way to go, Chalupa. You fucking nailed this draft, bud. So,
all right. Well, let's talk about your James Madison kid.
So, I love this guy. Chase Stillwater. That's who we're talking about?
James Madison, yes.
James Madison. Now, he had an injury, so he didn't play much after he got drafted.
He didn't play at all.
But he's big. And
I want to say he hit 400 his last year.
400. Now, that is like small college ball, right?
Exactly.
I think James Madison's in Virginia, maybe?
Somewhere over there. But
so I just see, and he's got a funky swing, and the last couple guys I take are sort of college bats with a funky swing, but they're big. And this is a guy who he's either going to not be kept next year or he's going to turn out to be something really good. But we'll know when he plays this year. So when he plays, it'll be very obvious whether the Indians have found a gem in a small school or he's just another guy who crushes college, comes to the majors, and then his swing has too many holes in it. But he's big, he's athletic, he's got power, he's got speed, he can play the outfield. I think this has the potential to be a great value pick.
It could. I see a lot of similarities. The guy I know you like a lot.
Are you gonna say my boy?
I think you just traded for him this year. So if you're thinking of that guy, Cowser.
Oh, Colton Cowser. Oh, well, there's different because
Did you just trade for him this year?
Yeah, and I overpaid, but there's different. I don't know anything about Chase Slaughter.
He has an unknown. Colton Cowser at least has stats, and you can see the stats.
Also, I have inside knowledge on Cowser.
What's the inside knowledge?
Because he played at San Houston when I worked there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
I got to watch him play, and I was doing work with the baseball coaches all the time. I knew the baseball coach pretty well, and I even talked to both of them. I talked to the hitting coach, the baseball coach, the pitching coach about Cowser. All of them were like, this guy, and this was the year he was getting drafted. They're like, listen, he's going to be drafted in the first round. And they were talking about how great he is. I watched him play. Cowser is a great baseball player. Chase Slaughter is not Cowser. Cowser is going to be.
I was going to say Cowser was a better prospect. So there's that.
But they're both drafted in the same area. But Cowser
is Cowser top 10 or was he just outside the top 10?
He was like number 5 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, so he was top 10. I thought DeLauder was.
Maybe he's like mid-teens. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say like 15-ish or something. But
the difference is that DeLauder has a kind of a funky swing. where Cowser has a very nice, balanced left-handed swing. And lately, Cowser has been trying to hit home runs, so his swing, that's why his
I was
average
gonna
is
say,
lower.
Cowser's hit tool, I mean, doesn't look. Tell her I'll be there in a minute. Cowser's hit tool doesn't look as good as I thought it was going to be coming out.
Because he's not being Frelick anymore. He's starting to roast the ball, and you're going to strike out more. But he's got plate discipline. Tell you, Cowser is going to be a stud, absolute stud. Did I overpay? Of course I did. But I had to get my guy. I made a mistake of thinking nobody knew who he was last year, and I paid the price.
You don't go as a top 5 pick or whatever, top 10 and not know. Those guys always get drafted, Rooster. Come on, man.
I just figured, like, Chase DeLauder is a pretty high pick. Nobody was in on him. So I just thought Cowser would drop to me, and of course he goes right in front of me.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I got my guy in the end. I think Chase DeLauder, I think I'm going to be pleasantly surprised after this season. So
we'll see. I mean, I thought you would have been more pleasantly surprised with Cowser, but like I said, I think his hit tool is not as good as I thought it was coming out of college. So that's not as good as I
Well,
would.
it's different. His hit tool, we're talking about Cowser. Cowser's hit tool is still a great hit tool.
I don't know.
If he needs to make contact, but he's starting to hit for power. So his swing is not like a balanced little stroke.
He teach that damn backspin swing, so that's not good.
Cowser was hitting line drives left and right. Now he's ripping the ball out of. He's hitting like 440, 50-foot blasts.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
all right.
The next pick,
4th round, Royce Lewis.
Patty, you know this pick is you've been targeted. This has nothing to do with baseball. This is a targeted attack on you.
Well, I don't mind because Royce Lewis sucks.
So, I mean, is he ever actually going to like stay healthy?
I don't think he is. I mean, if you're this young and you can't stay healthy, then you have no shots.
He's like a unhealthy version of Byron Buxton, and that's how injured he is.
But he's not even that good.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy is gonna go down as one of the worst. Well, maybe Mikey Moniak's the worst, but this guy's second worst of the ever first round, first overall pick guys.
Mark, who'd the Astros take? Mark Appel?
Well, he just retired. He's done with baseball, so that was pretty crappy as well.
But I don't think this had anything to do with thinking Royce Lewis is going to be a great player. I think this was targeted in case he does stay healthy and has a great year, that Kroom can jab you a little bit, Patty. How do you feel when you saw this go down?
I was laughing because this guy sucks. I mean, his power's limited. I think his speed is even more so limited now. I mean,
he's not going to play short. He's not going to play center.
Guy could be a good hitter, but even that was turning into suspect, and he wasn't walking much. I don't know.
I can tell you this.
I don't know.
If he comes up, or if he has a decent year at all, Kroom's going to be roasting you, Patty. Because that's what this pick was for. It was all about leverage. It's all about leverage, man.
We'll see, because I don't like that pick. So, all right, that was the 4th. Let's go to the 5th round.
All right, Kroom turns it around and takes one of the top amateurs in the international.
This is what Kroom does.
Yeah, so this is a guy, we know nothing about this guy.
I know zero about him. I mean, I've
Mariners.
seen
Mariners. He was just signed this year. He's one of the top international guys, but who knows? But
yeah, I read his little scouting reports these guys write when they get signed, and I'm like, come on, guys. I've seen enough and known enough where you guys are just writing a massive projection on somebody. Yeah. I don't know.
You never know. This could be Wander Franco. This could be a guy you never hear from again.
Absolutely. But 5th round, I'm okay with it. I don't care.
This is a good late round pick. Now, I don't have a lot to say about Cleston because we don't know anything about him, but I think this is a good round pick. Now let's go to the next pick. My two dads, Josh, Indy Rodriguez. I don't like it.
I don't know much about this guy. I wasn't big on this guy either. So
he's like a catcher in the Pirates system. And Josh said he plays second base. I was like, I don't know.
He's not a catcher. He is second base in the Twins organization.
No, I thought he was on the Pirates.
Twins.
I'm thinking of a different guy.
This is what happens when you get this deep into the draft and we don't do that much research. I'm pretty sure he's on the Twins.
Okay, this is my bad. There's 2 Indy Rodriguez. Now, which one did he draft?
The Twins.
Are you sure? We need confirmation.
Not 100%, but he can have both of them because they both suck.
That's what I'm saying. So, okay, the Twins guy is a second base shortstop. Okay, the other Indy Rodriguez is in the Pirate system, who is like a not very good catcher.
How old is he? The Pirates one.
He's like in his early 20s.
I don't think he would take that guy.
So that's why I texted Josh. I said catcher, and he said second base, and I was like, what?
Yeah, he's talking about the Twins guy.
So Indy Rodriguez is a switch hitting catcher in the Pirates system.
He's
who has like okay stats for like a catcher. I don't know.
Well, we're not talking about the catcher. We're talking about the
he's like a catcher with a good bat. So honestly, I think the Pirates catcher is a better prospect than this other guy. So Josh, we need some clarification about who you did pick.
No, I don't think he's taking the Pirate. What level is the Pirates guy in? Like high A?
Triple A. He played 6 games in AAA last year, and he hit .455. He played 31 games in AA, hit .356.
Wow.
He played 88 games in high A, hit .302. That's why I thought he was taking this guy. He's like a plus bat catcher.
That is pretty good average. I'll give him
so
that.
Josh, we need clarification. Now I guess you can pick which one you want.
Yeah, because the Twins guy hits for shit.
So we need clarification about which Indy Rodriguez you took. I thought it was the catcher because I thought the other guy sucked worse.
Honestly,
but maybe
I thought
you took the other
Twins guy had like a 1% shot to make the big leagues. And I was like, why would you take this guy? So
I think he took the catcher.
Well, we'll have to get some clarification.
Josh, we need clarification. Post it. Now, Chalupa, I'm not even going to know anything. I have no idea who this guy is.
I've heard of this guy before, at least.
Patty, tell me about this guy.
He's a Venezuelan kid. He's projectable. He's got decent pop, decent speed. Hit tool is maybe average to below average. I don't know. Can he grow into it? He's a shortstop. I mean, he's got projected to probably stay at shortstop, but I don't know a ton after that. I don't think he's going to be an amazing player. His walk, he's a prototypical, international guy. Some international guys like Soto do walk a lot, but I feel like most international guys do not walk, and this guy does not walk. So,
which is a bad sign, I think.
Very bad sign.
So
still young.
Once again, like Chalupa, I would love to hear a breakdown of how you selected these guys. Because like I said, it's harder to find this guy than it is to find the guy Schaefer takes in the next pick, who's an actual prospect.
Yeah, I don't know where you find this guy. Like I said, he's young. He has a shot, I guess. I think he hit like 260 with 15 homers, 15 stolen bases last year or something like that. So I think he was in low A at 19. So it's not out of the question. He's got something, but he strikes out way too much. That's the problem.
Yeah.
His strikeout is just, I think he swings to the fences. I've never even seen this guy take a swing, but he probably just swings to the fences.
We'll never hear from him ever again. But Chalupa, I really enjoyed your draft this year. Schaefer's pick. Now, how do you say this last name? Fat?
I think it's Fat.
Fat? Fat.
Yeah.
Is it Fat or Fat?
Who is the guy from what was that? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Junyo Fat? Like Fat.
Fat. Okay. Well, this guy is a big pitcher, Diamondbacks, very projectable, good grades as a pitcher. I think this is a nice value pick down here. I really think the Diamondbacks are an up-and-coming team. They're going to be bringing up a lot of talent. And I think this is, if you're going to take a pitcher.
The Diamondbacks or the Angels?
I thought it was Diamondbacks.
Oh, I don't look into pitchers that much.
I could be wrong.
Really top guys, maybe top 50. This guy, I don't know.
This guy has the potential to be one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. He
I think
strikes out people. He has good
close,
control.
though, isn't he?
He doesn't walk a lot of people. He has good stuff. He has a good fastball. He has good secondary.
Where did he pitch last year? AA or AAA? Because I think this guy's close to the big leagues. He might even be in the big leagues this year. I know Kroom liked this guy because he was talking to me about this guy.
Yeah, he's 24. He pitched in AAA.
Yeah, so
he was taken in the 2020 draft.
I don't know if he's going to be a keeper for you, but I think you will get value for him this year and probably next year because he won't go over the 200 innings limit. So you can definitely keep him again next year if he shows any signs of promise, and have him for a second year, which is even a bigger deal. So I like it.
So he's maybe a similar pick to Hunter Brown in a lot of ways.
Right. And I was going to say similar to my guy Senga.
Well, Senga at least has more pedigree. He's at least pitched in professional baseball.
Which is sometimes worse.
Yeah, where like Brown pitched in major leagues last year and had success.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good value pick if you were going to target this guy as a pitcher.
Well, look at all these guys on this list. I would say, the 5th round list. Felony, whatever, Indy Rodriguez, Arteaga, Fat, Steer, Caminaro, Walcott, Mervis. All the guys on this list. Mervis. Well, depending on the Indy Rodriguez, I guess we don't. That's still no, because we don't know.
We do need clarification about which Indy Rodriguez.
If it's the Pittsburgh guy, he should be in the big leagues at some point. But I will say Fat, Steer, and Mervis are probably the only 3 guys on here that I can say for sure 100% will make the big leagues. All the rest of these guys, I'm not sure.
No idea.
So Fat, I think, is for that reason alone is a good pick.
I mean, if he's close, I think it's better to take these guys when they're a little closer than taking them when they're like an A ball.
Exactly.
But yeah, Schaefer's good at finding value.
Finds pitchers, so I'm sure this guy is going to be awesome.
Yeah, Cy Young in 2 years, of course. Yep. So I'm going to keep saying binge until I'm told otherwise. Take Spencer Steer. I don't like this pick.
Binge right now.
I don't like this pick at all.
This is a value pick. I mean, I don't understand why you don't like it. He's going to be the starting 3rd baseman for the Reds this year.
That's how bad the Reds are. That says nothing about how good he is. It says how bad the Reds are.
Okay, I'll give you that. But he's going to give you value in the big leagues this year.
Yeah, but he's going to give you at-bats, but do you want those at-bats? I don't know.
Depends on what he hits, I guess.
I don't think there's any power. I don't think there's much upside. I think he's a placeholder until
he got a cup of coffee last year and did not do well. But it is what it is.
He didn't do good in AAA either.
And he's a bit older. I think he's mid-20s, so that doesn't help his cause.
I don't know.
This guy's not a long-term solution, but he could do something for you this year. If he hits 240 with, 20 bombs, that's something. So
wow. If that is what you're targeting for TTM, you're in trouble because that is not how you win money in this league, by targeting 3rd-tier third baseman on bad teams.
True, but we'll see. I mean, he could be better than what I'm giving him credit for.
But he will be the big.
He's going to get. That's where the value I see.
That's his only value, is that he will play in major leagues this year.
Yeah.
But if he's still on the roster at the All-Star break, you're making a huge mistake because he's taking your team down.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he should be on the roster, but he may not. Like I said, I'm hoping my guy comes up and.
That's what I'm saying. He's just a placeholder.
I mean, he's, like I said, mid-20s, so I don't think this guy is on any kind of radar to do much of all. Yeah. He's probably aged out of prospect list.
Yeah, I mean, his only value is that he will play in the major leagues. So, all right, we've got Junior Caminero.
This was my best pick of the round.
Really? Okay.
Yours was close. I will say I like Mervis. He was close. But this is my best pick of the round.
Why is that?
I think he's going to be an above-average hitter with some speed, some power. I mean, 15-15, maybe outside shots at 20 in one of those categories. but I think he's going to be a good hitter in the bigs.
I think that this guy has a fucking bat and he can fucking rip the ball, but all the scouting stuff I said, so he already has no pitch recognition. He's got terrible plate discipline. So what if your bat speed is great? Clint Frazier had great bat speed. He did shit, and this guy's probably worse than him.
No, this guy makes better contact than what you're giving him credit for.
Yeah,
and he's still young.
He made better contact in freaking A-ball, but pitchers are going to eat this guy up, man. If you don't have plate, if you can't recognize pitches in Major League Baseball, you're done.
Well, I'm going to call him up tonight, and I'm going to ask him how his pitch recognition is coming along.
Okay, you know this guy?
No, but I'm going to Facebook him or something.
All right, WhatsApp him?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I guess it's worth a pick this late, but you're taking a guy who already has huge. The projection isn't even there. He already has a huge red flag, and that his hit tool is awful.
I think his hit tool is not awful. It's better than you would think.
I think his power and his bat speed are good, but all the batting reports I read said the guy has no plate discipline at all.
I don't know. I didn't watch the guy live and play, but from what I can tell, his play discipline, he is a swinger. He likes to swing at everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of walks, but he also puts the ball in play. Doesn't strike out a ton, but
in A ball.
In A ball, of course. He's only 19 though, so he's young.
So yeah, when he makes contact, I guess it's good, but I don't know. So I guess it's worth taking here. I don't really like the pick.
This is the 5th round. These guys.
It's the 5th round, but
these guys are what they are.
There's still really good players out there, I think, that are way better than that. All right, Patty, you're gonna have to tell me about Walcott.
He's 16. He speaks English. He's an international guy. He speaks English, so he's already got that going for him.
Now, where is he from?
I believe he's from the Bahamas.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was from Europe. I'm thinking of a completely different guy.
No, this guy is from the Bahamas. So big kid, just all projection. This is like, I'm going to steal your term. This is a lottery ticket. I mean, 16-year-old, I think he's already 6'3", maybe 6'4". Definitely has room to build into his frame. So
Rangers, I don't know anything about this guy. I was thinking of a completely different guy.
He is,
Rangers,
big power.
Bahamas, shortstop.
Not a shortstop. He's not going to be a shortstop moving forward.
Rangers gave him over $3 million.
Yeah. So
okay, good lottery ticket. But I knew nothing about this guy. Good lottery ticket, I guess.
That's all.
Was he just signed this year? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. He's still 16. He may just turn 17. I'm not sure.
So
but
very similar to Kroom's pick.
Exactly.
In the same round. It's lottery ticket.
This guy is at least a year off, maybe 2 years off from playing in America. But like I said, he does speak English because he's from the Bahamas. So I think that will help his cause. Because I know a lot of, like the Dominicans, they come over to America and it's just like, I'm in a foreign country. I don't speak this language, and they get lost and they're done. This guy has that going for him, I guess, but we'll see. Like I said,
good lottery ticket.
Way off.
Well, like I said, I didn't know anything about this guy. I was thinking it was some dude from like Austria or something. So
a little closer to home.
Yeah, a little bit closer to home. Now, let's get to my pick. When this guy dropped to me, I was so happy. I thought for sure, Patty, you were taking him. For sure.
I like this guy. I do.
Cubs?
Yeah.
There's no way Hosmer stays at first base all season.
Hosmer's God.
So he crushed. How many home runs did he hit last year?
36. He was like number 5 or 6 in the minor leagues last year.
Dude was crushing the ball.
Yeah.
So he's got a terrible hit tool. This is your classic slugger. He's a big boy. He's 24. He's got a bad hit tool, but he's got lots of power that he is suddenly tapping into. This is a guy who was drafted in 2020, I believe. No, 2016.
When you drafted, was he drafted twice, I think, or is it just once?
He must have been drafted twice because he didn't play I thought he was drafted in 2020.
Yeah,
Maybe,
he's older, which I don't like.
maybe he's a COVID guy, and since the draft was shorter, he wasn't drafted. Because in 2020, the draft was only 8
No, he was
months or
definitely
something.
drafted twice.
It's showing as
You
being
might be
drafted
right.
in
He might be a
26.
COVID kid, and he signed as a restricted or a free agent after that year.
How
'Cause
many
he's a
rounds
college
was the
kid.
draft?
It was 5 in 2020 because of COVID.
Yeah, so
This guy was a college player.
So I'm sure he was signed as a free agent in 2020.
Yeah. So
But
he
he started
didn't play
playing
5 rounds.
Yeah, undrafted free agent in 2020.
Because he's like what, 25?
24. Yeah, he's
Okay.
24.
But he's a big kid. You like these 6'5" guys or whatever
Yeah,
he is.
big boy. Just like DeLauder, we're talking 6'4", 230 guys. He's a slugger. He's going to go to Wrigley. He's going to hit 250. He's going to rip 30 bombs. Watch
Yep.
it. This year, I think, maybe not this year, but he has
those
the
guys
potential.
take a year or so to develop.
Yeah. He also cut his strikeouts when he went to AAA. He was having a great year. So he cut his strikeouts to only striking out 14.6% and still hit 297 with 15 home runs and 240 at bats.
Yeah. And
So
you're going to get value this year out of him. He should be in the bigs for sure this year. So you'll get really good value out of him. So of all the picks, like I said, Fat, Steer, and Mervis are the 3 guys that I can 100% guarantee will be in the big leagues.
I see a slugger. I sort of maybe see a keeper here.
Well, if you get a keeper, I'll give it to you. You just hit a real nice hit.
The Cubs have had a good run of slugging first baseman.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. That's a big if. So if he hits 250 with 30, you might have a keeper depending on what his OBP is. We'll see. That's a lot to ask. But he's hit good so far, so you never know.
So Hull takes Zach Jackson.
This was the guy. He was number 1 on my board when he took him. He should
because
be
you're just going straight. Now he is
the 8th inning guy for the A's.
Yeah, but could easily be the closer at some point.
Could.
Has control problems.
Yep.
But I mean, basically you're taking a holds guy, which, like I said, he's the 7th, 8th inning sort of guy for now. Could easily be the closer in Oakland this year.
I like this guy. I think he's really good. So I like this pick. Very good value. He's going to get immense value this year in the big leagues out of this guy. I think he was at like 30 or 40 innings, so he was close to being over as well. He'll go over this year.
I mean, not a keeper for next year, but his value is his ability to provide.
These closers can come out of nowhere and just dominate. Like, look at Liam Hendricks. So
that's true. He was on the A's and he was terrible, and then suddenly he was a really good.
One good year on the A's, maybe 1.5 good years, and then they took him to the White Sox, and it was crazy.
So
you never know.
True, you never know.
Your pick, though,
decent.
I don't know anything about this guy, so let's have you explain him for the first time.
Oh, Dylan Beavers? All right. So it's a big boy. So we're talking big college bats.
I probably could have guessed he was 6'5".
Just like Chase DeLauder, just like Matt Mervis, just like other guys that drives and past, Alec Bohm, and there's a long line of big college boys, Aaron Judge, big college sluggers that I like to take. Once again, Beavers has a funky swing. He's got a lot of holes in his swing, but he's drafted by the Orioles, who have been producing really good prospects lately. So he's 6'4". He is very athletic, left-handed bat. He has got insane raw power with a terrible hit tool.
What's his position?
Outfield. So he's going to be a good outfielder.
So he will stick in the outfield.
He's going to stick in the outfield for sure.
Okay.
He's got decent speed. We're looking at a guy who, if he can hit the ball, 2020 guy.
That's always good.
That's a huge if. Like, his hit tool is not good.
I feel like everybody from the 3rd round down on, it's can they hit the ball?
This dude is just ripping uppercuts like
I guess that's
every pitch. So it's a complete. If he keeps swinging the way he is now, he's not going to be kept on my minor league team next year. But if the Orioles, they're going to have to change his swing because he was a pretty high draft pick. Yeah, he was a 33rd overall last year.
Oh wow, probably a
So
competitive balance pick.
he's super athletic. They're gonna change his swing. I have a lot of confidence in their ability.
Okay.
Oh, Kobe Mayo is another big boy college. I don't know. Did Mayo play in college? Can't remember. Orioles third baseman with a kind of a funky swing that the Orioles have helped, and now
Yeah.
he's suddenly hitting for power again.
Well,
So Dylan Beavers, oh man, like I
mean,
said,
the Orioles have been developing hitters really good lately. So
and they've been drafting these college guys a little bit older, getting rid of their funk and turning them into major leaguers. So
yeah, if they can do that for this guy, then you never know.
that's Dylan Beavers right there. Wouldn't be surprised if this is the last time I ever say his name. But it's worth taking because if they can,
I'd expect nothing less.
yeah, if he can change his swing and stop ripping uppercuts and everything, a lot of potential there.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll get to my pick. I took a Twins relief pitcher. All about value this year.
I had to look up this guy as well.
Actually,
I was actually surprised on this one, Patty.
He throws heat.
Heat.
I don't think he's as good as his Twins teammate Johan Duran, or whatever you say his name. And of course, the Twins have freaking Jorge Lopez, which I had last year. He had a freaking ridiculous year, even though I thought he was going to have a 5 ERA. So for some reason, Duran's not going to be the closer, but Jorge Lopez is. I don't know. I think Jorge Lopez gets blown up in the first 2 months, loses his J.
Oh, I don't see that at all. I think he's going to be a great closer.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like. I was iffy on him last year. I'm still iffy on him now.
I think the Twins are a smart team. I think they found something there, and now their bullpen is going to be stacked.
We'll see. I do like this guy a ton.
Yeah, this is a great reliever value pick, holds guy for this year. You won't keep him for next year. He's going to go over the inning limit, but great value for this season.
Yeah, so that's all it was, a value for this year. Yes, Haley.
Everyone's starving for dinner.
Okay.
No,
we're almost done.
No, everyone. We need it right now.
Okay, well, let's go kill a chicken in the backyard.
Can we order Whataburger?
No, we're not ordering Whataburger.
How do you get the kids some fruit roll-ups?
Yeah. Go tell them, ask mom what she wants, and go record that.
I have candy.
Okay, no, go ask mom what she wants, please. Okay. Next pitch, drinking binge. To Kyle Harrison, Giants starting pitcher. This is an okay pick. I mean, he's had good stats in the minors. I like him. I think he made it to Double-A last year. So, and I think he's probably going to start in Triple-A. So he might get a call up halfway through the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is another run of pitchers who I don't know.
I don't rather pitchers after round 4 in the minor league draft. You can take them all you want at that point.
Yeah. Exactly. I just think this late in the draft, I think you should take guys you could see as keepers. Now, maybe he does see this guy as a future number 1 or 2
He's
pitcher.
got really good minor league stats. Really, really good minor league stats.
So you never know. Maybe this guy is going to be a great pitcher, but most likely he's not going to be. So
yeah, and like you said, this guy, he's already been through, I think, a couple of minor league seasons, so he's a lot closer, and he's not just getting drafted. Hopefully the arm trouble's not there. It still could be, of course. You never know. But, I mean, I like the pick, but not as good as the next pick.
Yeah, so he's like a mid-rotation starter. Way to go.
Maybe.
So, wait a minute. A Cubs guy, right? Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yes.
Who is – I think this is a great example of guys who – so he's a good outfielder, very good defensive player that made a swing change that changed everything.
I didn't know he made a swing change. If he made
it was right after who they
drafted him.
So the Mets traded him to the Cubs.
Correct.
And the Cubs changed his swing. Okay. And then suddenly he wasn't just a defensive outfielder anymore. He was an offensive and defensive outfielder all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The guy was still young enough because they traded him, I think, after the year he got drafted, just like they did with Kellenet. Yeah. So they traded him really early on before they even knew maybe what they even had. And he was a first-round talent, just like Kellenet. So I mean, and he's had really good last couple of years with the Cubs. So I don't see any reason why this guy can't be a very good player for the Cubs.
I think he is a high probability of being in the major leagues because he can play center field very well. I think that he doesn't have the bat to be a keeper, but I think it's an example of if he's shown the ability to become a better hitter in a short amount of time in the major leagues, which is really hard to do, I think. So you could see him continuing to get better.
I'm not saying he's a keeper, but I will say of all the guys drafted in the 6th round, this guy is the closest thing to maybe being a possible or potential keeper.
He definitely has the highest floor.
Right.
Well, maybe Zach Jackson does, but because he will be in the majors here, but you can definitely see him playing center field for the Cubs.
Right. So I'm good with this pick. I like it. I mean, 6th round, tremendous value. So I thought that was the best pick. I can't believe it's still on the board that late. I guess I just forgot about him. I started looking at my relievers too much.
Yeah, I mean, I knew about him, but he definitely wasn't going to be drafted by me because I don't see him as a keeper.
Oh, are we in the my two dads section?
Oh,
of the
yeah.
draft, I guess.
Yep.
So I think
There we
this is
go.
where he finished it. I knew
Bobby Miller, flamethrower,
Dodgers.
It's worth taking. Probably a bullpen guy, maybe.
He picked this guy up late in the year
Yeah.
in the major leagues. Didn't keep him, so I knew he was high on him. And then I think he's got some arm issues already this year. So
Does he?
I think he did. Or was that?
All I know about Miller is the dude throws just missiles.
That's the problem with these guys. They throw too hard. They throw their arm out. I mean, they need to understand, don't throw your max effort every pitch. That's going to get you hurt. You need to be throwing 90.
He only knows how to throw gas. That's the problem. So he's 6'5". I didn't know he was that big.
I think he's the guy that threw a 105-mile-an-hour pitch or something. Or no, that was someone else.
No, that's a guy who was on my board, but I didn't take. That's Ben Joyce, the dude on the Angels.
Angels, that's it. Yeah, I knew it was an LA guy.
Yeah. No, this guy, he's like a big. I think he's a starter for now. But he's kind of funky and he throws heat. He didn't play in the majors last year. He got the AAA play.
He's got good stats though.
Yeah, he pitched.
And he's a top 50
20 innings
on most boards.
Yeah, so I think he's like a funky fastball slider. That's why I see reliever. I see the Dodgers being smart and saying this guy's going to throw gas out of the bullpen. So,
I mean, if he goes to the bullpen and becomes a dominant closer, it could be a great pick.
Yeah.
And
I don't see him.
If he goes to the bullpen,
if he stays as a starter, not a good pick. If he is suddenly the closer, because the Dodgers bullpen is kind of wide open. If he's suddenly the 8th inning or closer
is
now in the Dodgers, man, this is a great.
How do they have like the best team in baseball, yet they arguably have one of the worst bullpens in baseball? How is that even possible?
Dude, their bullpen is scrappy. It's all like scrub dudes that got really good all this. That's why they're just a smart team. When they see a good bullpen guy, they put him in the bullpen.
Yep.
So, and then Zach Neto,
I believe. Yeah. This is like your guy and Colton Cowser and DeLauder. I mean, small college guy, hit amazing. I think
DeLauder and Cowser are both big gentlemen. Neto is small.
But
he's small and skinny.
That's the difference, I guess. This guy is probably for sure a shortstop.
Yeah, he's a for real shortstop, but he's not a small, big guy. He's a small, skinny guy. He's basically the exact size and weight.
Well, I don't want Andre the Giant out there playing shortstop.
Well, I'm saying they've listed him as 6 foot 185. That's me. You want me playing shortstop for you, Patty? I have no power.
If you can bench some weights and do some funky stuff, then sure, why not?
I don't work out. I think this guy is going to be a good baseball player, but not a good fantasy player. I don't think he has enough power. I think he's got a good hit tool.
They moved him along fairly quickly, and I imagine that was because his defense is more than adequate to play right now in the big league. You can
definitely see him being their shortstop.
100%.
But also, who was their shortstop for all those years? The defensive guy. What's his name?
Simmons. And Dalton Simmons.
Yeah. So I mean,
then they had that little white. They had that little white boy.
so I think he's going to be.
I don't know.
I think he'll play shortstop, but he's not going to be somebody that's fantasy relevant. He might have a pop-up year or half a year every once in a while.
Like you always keep saying, I think this guy is a better baseball player
Much
than a
better.
fantasy baseball player.
If I'm drafting a shortstop, this is the guy you target. If I'm drafting a shortstop for my team, I want he's not Corey Seager, you know.
Yeah, I don't know where this guy is going to hit in the lineup. He could hit. Honestly, he could hit like 8 or 9 in the lineup. So
the Angels are so bad, he's probably going to hit like second in front of Trout and Ohtani. So
why is Trout not hitting second, or Ohtani for that matter?
Because the Angels are funky, dude. Trout will probably hit 5th for some reason.
I mean, I don't know. I like the pick. I think they're going to move him along really fast because defensively he is ready. But does that sacrifice his bat long term if they progress him too fast, too quickly in these minors? I don't know.
I think you're right. I think he'll move fast and be in the major leagues in the next few years. Hey Google, turn off the living room light.
So last pick of the draft, drinking binge takes Logan O'Hop. Okay.
I was like at work at this point, so I didn't really even look at this pick until right now.
I mean, it's a guy. I like him, so I don't have a problem with this.
Tell me about him, Patty.
Let me go make sure I know who I'm talking about. Not this other Logan guy. I do like Logan Gilbert.
Oh, so this is a major league catcher.
He's close to major league guy.
I know this guy. So he's like a decent catching prospect for the Angels.
Right, and he was in the bigs last year for a little bit.
So he's like a good hitting catcher.
Does have pop.
I guess it's a decent play if this is a guy you wanted to draft in the major league draft, but like he's not a keeper. You don't keep guys like this.
I don't know. If he's like a Wilson Contreras or even something similar to that, he could be a keeper. I mean,
there's no way his bat's going to be that good, Patty. When Contreras was hitting, dude, he was hitting.
Yeah, and this guy's, I mean, maybe not as good of a batting average hitter, a hit tool, but this guy's got pop. So
I think he's going to be a decent hitting catcher without much power.
Why do you think he doesn't have any power? I mean, he's a good kid. I mean, I don't know.
He's not that big. He's listed as 6'2", 185. Once again, that's my size.
More pounds on. He needs to get that 200 pounds for sure. Get some more muscle on that body.
I don't know. I think this is only a good pick if he said, this is the guy I'm going to draft as catcher in the major league draft, and I'm just going to take him now.
Yeah, but if this guy, like I said, hits 250 with 25 home runs, say a 330 OBP as a catcher, that's pretty darn good for a fantasy baseball catcher these days.
I guess. I don't know. I still had like 10 guys on my board.
I'm sure you did.
And Logan O'Hop was not on there.
I think that was last pick. Let me double check to make sure that was last pick of the draft.
That's the last pick.
That was it right there. So
that's probably one of the longest drafts we're ever going to have. We added 3 rounds.
I love it.
It got crazy.
There's definitely some shitty picks in there. And
definitely some shitty picks in there. I think the new minor league system is going to work out really well.
I'm happy for it.
I'm happy that we did it. Patty, winner of the draft. Who do you think it is?
Wins the what?
The winner of the draft.
Oh, man. As much as it pains me to say, I'm going to give it to Bolt because he got the first 2 picks. I don't know if he got those 2 picks right. I will say that. I think Churio and Wood could be better players, fantasy-wise at least. But if either of those guys comes up, I don't think they're A-Rod guys. But if they're anywhere close to a 330 home run guy, then Bolt could easily win it. And if they're both really good, Bolt's going to dominate this draft. But like I said, they were probably 3rd and 4th on my board.
Well, Patty, you already know who I think won the draft.
Who is that?
Our boy Chalupa. because it's more of like a metaphysical win. You know what I mean? It's not like he didn't win because he got the best players. He won because he like created his own like reality of baseball players that are good. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I would love to get an explanation from him,
We'll see if
written
I
or
can get him
video.
on a conference call.
Yeah, I would love to see just how did you select these guys? How did you, number one, not just find out about these guys, but how did you pick them? Who were the other guys on your board that you could have taken? I would love to know that. So I was so mesmerized guessing who he's going to pick. And then also, like, in all reality, his first round pick, Brooks Lee, I think is an absolute stud, was one of the best players taken in the entire draft, obviously at number 5, but still. So from going from that, like a super legit, awesome pick, to just hit after hit after hit afterwards, absolutely loved it. Way to go, Chalupa. You blew my mind.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I do think the Blunts could have had a massive steal in the draft. If Trurio is who we think he is, and then the Blunts draft Hunter Brown, who I think has keeper potential.
Could be good. Yeah.
So that could be massive for Kroom. Binge got some really good players. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think everybody across the board, there wasn't one that was, besides Chalupa, that was totally out there. So
yeah.
Overall, it was a great draft. Patty, you're probably gonna have to break this video up into like multiples. It's a long one.
I don't care. It's gonna be an hour and a half video. People can podcast it when they're stuck.
Exactly. It's kind of like a podcast. Hopefully, people haven't fallen asleep. Great draft, everybody. Looking forward to the season. I'm gonna do some content on my own. Do a few videos about keepers before the draft. And Patty, what about you?
I'm getting ready for our draft is in 3 days, so people better get ready for it. I'm getting ready for it. I've got so many sleepers. I think I'm going to come out, take 3 closers and then a bunch of sleepers.
I've already got my 3 closers, so I'm going sleepers from the get-go.
Yeah, well, my closer was hurt, so I don't really have. I have 1 closer, maybe.
Who got hurt?
Liam Hendricks.
Oh, he got cancer. Okay.
Well, yeah, so I guess it's not hurt, but yes. Cancer might be worse.
Do you think he's going to play this year? Did they say?
No. He might come back in September, but at that point, who knows what he's going to be? I don't know.
He's an Australian.
I think he's out for the year.
Go Aussie. Aussie.
All right, Rooster. Well, that's the video. Great video. Any last words?
No, we're just ready for the season. It's going to be awesome. Right. Good luck.
Well, TTM will be back. Good luck to everybody in the draft on Monday. We'll see y'all.
Adios.